This is a geek book, and it's not actually a book for geeks or a book about geeks. It's a laptop made by Geekom. Obviously, these guys are very proud about being geeks, which is certainly a thing that some people might be proud of. Not me, though. I'm not a geek. I'm a dweeb. And if you're a geek and you think you're better than me, I'll kick your butt at Nintendo. I've been shopping around for a thin and light OLED laptop. I actually almost bought one on a Boxing Day sale on Amazon, but they were sold out by the time I got around to actually clicking the checkout button, so I didn't end up getting one, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because a few weeks ago, Geekom reached out to me about checking out one of their mini PCs, but then I saw that they have these thin and light laptops, so I asked very nicely if they'd be up for letting me review one of those instead, and they said yes. Haha, everything's coming up TechDweeb. But don't worry, I'll still give you my honest opinion. I'll tell you what I really think of this thing, which is, I like it. The Geekom Geekbook X14 Pro is a thin and light laptop with the power of lightness, apparently. It's just 2.2 pounds, and according to Geekom, you can take it anywhere and do anything, which is a lie. I tried to take it into the shower and use it as a hoverboard. It didn't do either of those things well. This thing is very thin and light though. Exactly what I wanted in a thin and light laptop, but we also have some serious power under the hood. This bad boy comes in two variations. There's an Intel Core Ultra 5 125H version, which comes with 1 terabyte of storage in the form of a 2280 NVMe SSD. And there's a higher end Intel Core Ultra 9 185H version with 2 terabytes of storage. That's the one I have, the Intel Core Ultra 9 one. Both versions come with 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM clocked at 7467 megathings per second. The screen is easily the star of the show here. This is a 14-inch AMOLED screen with a resolution of 2880 by 1800, 100% DCI-P3 color gamut, 450 nits brightness, and up to 120 Hz refresh rate. We also get Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.4, a 72 watt-hour battery that supports 65 watt PD fast charging. It's running Windows 11 Pro out of the box, and it has some other specifications that I'm too lazy to read, but I'll just put them on the screen. There they are. Enjoy that. Right now, as of the time of filming on the Geekom website, you can grab this for $997 for the Core 5 version and $1,187 for the Core 9 version. And that's if you use the 5% discount code that they have on the pages there. And it does also look like it's going to increase in price in like 4 hours. So it might be more expensive when you go to get it. I guess I probably should have tried harder to get this video out sooner. As you can see, it's very thin, but even still, we do get full-size ports. On the left, we have a full-size HDMI and 2 USB-C 4.0 holes. On the right, we get 1 USB-A hole and a 3.5mm headphone hole and a camera on and off switch. The screen does pass the one-handed open test. We get a 78-key backlit keyboard with a Copilot button that you'll never use and a big old 5.5-inch trackpad with multi-touch gestures and stuff. And up here is a power button with a built-in fingerprint reader. Up top where the hinge is, there's some holes in there for exhaust, and the intake holes are underneath, along with a raised back set of feet to give it some space to breathe and some smaller rubber feet on the front side. So I knew this thing was going to be light. When I was looking at the info on the website, Geekom was very proud about how thin and light this thing was going to be, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to experience just how light a 2.2 pound laptop was. This thing is like nothing. It feels like nothing when I'm holding it. That might be partly because my muscles are so big and things that would feel heavy to wimps feel light to muscle monsters like me, but I'm pretty sure this thing would be light even to wimps like you. Also, the material it's made of, they say on the website that they reimagined how a laptop should feel, which sounds like bullcrap, but I gotta say, whatever they did a great job. Even though it's a metal surface, it's got this like texture to it that feels almost soft. Kind of feels like paper or something. It's lovely. The hinge feels great, it's smooth across the whole range of movement, and it's firm. The screen will flop around if you like pick up the laptop and wiggle it all willy-nilly, but it won't be flopping around on you if you're using it like a normal person. The screen does not flip around to the back though. It stops about there. Exactly there, actually. That's where it stops. Obviously, the aesthetics are MacBook-ish. That's obviously the vibe they're going for. MacBook on a budget. I don't necessarily love the look of it, but it's fine. It's kind of plain. I think I would probably have preferred something a bit more interesting, but whatever. It looks like a laptop. I shouldn't be complaining about that. But I will anyways. The keyboard is nice. The keys are low profile, but they feel pretty good. I like the sound of the keys. I like that the keyboard is backlit. I can type fast on it. Oh, one neat thing is that the function key is actually a toggle. You don't have to hold this to do function stuff. I like that I can just leave this toggled on and just use the brightness and volume or whatever up here without needing two hands to do it. The trackpad is really nice though. It's nice and big, about 5.5 inches on the diagonal, and it feels amazing. Really precise movement to everything you'll do. I can easily get that cursor where I want and quickly. Great two-finger scrolling with touch gestures that are perfectly responsive on this high refresh rate screen. It just feels awesome. And speaking of the screen, that is honestly the main thing I love about this thing. We just talked about the high refresh rate, so let's start with that. The screen isn't variable refresh rate, so it's either 120 Hz or 60 Hz. It won't be changing on the fly, but 120 Hz is so freaking silky smooth. You can play high refresh rate games, of course. There aren't a ton of games that you'll be playing on here that can actually go up to 120 Hz, but maybe for like older games or indie games or whatever. But even for just like using Windows, all the menus and scrolling and moving stuff around, it's all just buttery smooth. Super high resolution here too. 2880 by 1800 resolution. At 14 inches, that's so much pixel density that it feels like the pixels don't even exist. Like pixels are atoms to me on this screen. It's 16 by 10 ratio, which is actually what I prefer on my laptops. I like that little bit of extra vertical space. And for true geeks, which is obviously who this Geekbook X14 is for, 16 by 10 is a great middle ground ratio if you play retro games on your doodads. Sort of like halfway between 4 by 3 and 16 by 9 kind of thing. And of course, the screen is OLED, which is just amazing. This screen is so nice. Oh my gosh. The blacks are just pure dark inky blackness, like my grade 8 teacher's heart, and the colors are bright and rich and just lovely, like my grade 6 teacher's heart. I judge all the tints and shades of my screens by the hearts of my grade school teachers, by the way. I hope that's clear enough for you. We get 100% DCI-P3 color gamut, so if you use this for photo or video editing, you won't have any problem seeing the colors naturally, as the color profile gods intended. 450 nits brightness, which is, that's good. Not amazing, but it's solid. Overall, there's lots of things I love about this laptop, but the screen is easily my favorite part. That's the main reason I wanted something like this. And I'm not disappointed at all with this thing. I'm kind of in love over here, if you can't tell. The sound, though, is a little bit of a letdown. Not because it's terrible, it's not. The speakers are DTS:X certified and they sound good enough, but considering how good the screen looks, I kind of wish the sound was amazing to match it. As they are, they're fine speakers, you can hear everything and it all sounds good, but it's not gonna blow you away. It still sounds like a laptop, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you do. It's got a camera too, and it's not great, but I'd probably get the job done. Here's some camera footage for you if you want to get an idea of what to expect. Good enough for video calls or whatever, but don't plan on filming your YouTube channel with it. The only piece of custom software we get is this Geekom PC Manager software, and this is pretty basic. You can go in here to change the battery mode, switch from power saving to balance to performance. However, this is weird. All these power modes are more or less the same. There's barely any performance difference no matter which one you choose. And for some reason, the top performance mode actually gives me worse performance than the balance mode. And balance and power saving are barely different. You only get like a tiny smidge more performance with balance. So I don't know what's up with that, but I just put it on balance mode and I left it there, which was kind of nice to know that I didn't have to switch modes all the time. I just set it and forget it. Let's get on to the performance stuff and we'll start with some benchmarks. This is what you can expect from the Intel Core Ultra 9 i9 185H version at least. On Cinebench R23, I got a multi-core score of 10,292 and a single core score of 1,556. In 3D Mark Time Spy, I got an overall score of 3,777. And in Crystal Disk Mark, I got these results, which I think are pretty good, but I'm not a storage speed expert, so I don't know. That's the numbers there. Do what you want with that. At a very basic level, this chip is amazing for regular day-to-day stuff, like browsing the web and having 50 browser tabs open at once, watching 3 TechDweeb videos at once while you do your emails or spreadsheets or whatever. If you're into light productivity stuff like photo and video editing, you should have no problem, but I wouldn't expect to do heavy workloads of any sort on this without running into slowness. When it comes to gaming, this thing isn't a beast. I didn't expect it to do much. I didn't want this thing for gaming, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised at how well it did. It ran some nice looking stuff. Obviously all the lower spec indie stuff will work a treat, and older games, that stuff should be fine. You can run this stuff all dang day and never have performance issues. These kind of games don't tend to tax the chip very much either, so you can expect really great battery life if you're playing this kind of stuff. And of course, like everything, they look amazing on this screen. Seriously, if you're into indie games, playing them on a beautiful high pixel count, high refresh rate OLED screen is like pure luxury to an indie game lover like me. And for the more demanding stuff, you really gotta temper your expectations. Depending on how new your games are, you'll have to compromise a little, or a lot, in terms of the resolution in the game settings. But here's the thing with that, this screen is 1800p basically, well beyond 1440p. So if you run the games at a high resolution, you can turn on upscalers like FSR or XeSS. Since we're on an Intel chip, we get hardware XeSS support over here. And even if you set them to the ultra performance mode, you'll still get super crispy visuals, or even just using a straight up resolution scale. Like in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I ran this game at full 1800p, but I set it to like a 30% resolution scale, and the game played great, and it looked great. It wasn't like perfectly crisp the way it would be on a gaming PC. I was also just on medium settings too, but honestly, it was more than playable. Same thing with The Witcher 3. I was on medium settings and I just set it to XeSS performance mode and it was playing great, around 50 to 60 FPS most of the time. There were some frame drops here and there, but for a non-gaming laptop, I was actually impressed at how well it did for gaming. There was a limit though, obviously. In Doom the Dark Ages, the game isn't very well optimized for weaker hardware and it has mandatory ray tracing. This one can be pretty hard to run. I had to go down to a lower native resolution and use ultra performance XeSS, and even still I only managed about 33 FPS like that. And the game didn't look great. It was pretty blurry. However, as I was recording the gameplay, I got in the zone and I actually had a good time playing this. So I guess it just depends on what you expect. If you expect high-end gaming PC performance, you're going to be disappointed. But if you just expect some gaming on the side of just being a good laptop, and if you're willing to accept some compromises, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised at what you can get away with in terms of gaming. I did fire up some retro games at one point though. I didn't do any high-end emulation tests or anything, I played some PS1 and Super Nintendo or whatever, but I had a lovely time playing this and I kind of wish I did a whole big emulation test to see how far I could push it with like a PS3 and Switch or whatever. Maybe I can do a follow-up video if you're interested in seeing that. Just let me know in the comments. And for the battery, I did 2 tests. My first test was a high-end workload, and for this, I chose a game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This was running with VSync off at the highest settings, and that got the device to work as hard as it could, all out, the fans were going, and I got a total battery life of 1 hour and 54 minutes like that. And of course, you can lower the settings and lock down the frame rate if you want to extend that. And for my low-end workload, I just put on a YouTube video. Nothing else running. Watching TechDweeb on YouTube in one browser tab would get you about 8 hours and 15 minutes of screen time. And like that, you basically get an entire work day out of this thing. A whole 8-hour day of work, if your job is to watch YouTube all day. The fan is usually basically silent. It's not going when you're doing regular Windows stuff. It's cool and quiet, but even when you're pushing it with super high-end stuff like gaming. When the fan comes on, it's not annoying. It's loud enough that you can hear it, but it's not high-pitched and whiny. Fan noise is a big annoyance for me. I hate devices where the fan sounds annoying, and I was honestly so relieved when I realized this fan wasn't annoying. I'm annoying enough as it is. I don't need the competition. So yeah, that's all the stuff about this thing. I do love it. I mean, I'm super happy with it. The one thing I don't feel like I can actually say is if it's a good value. I'm not big into the laptop world. I've only reviewed a few of them, and none of them were thin and light daily driver machines like this one. I don't know if $1,000 or whatever it costs is a good value for this. I briefly checked on Amazon for comparable products, and I felt like this was pretty much in line with the stuff that I saw over there. However, I also saw that this exact laptop was on Amazon, and it was more expensive there than if you get it from Geekom's website. I guess then you get it right away, but yeah, if you want to save some money and you want this, then definitely consider getting it from Geekom directly, or get something else if you think it's not good. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I'm not your mother. And if I was your mother, I'd tell you to give me your money instead. I gave birth to you. It's the least you could do. And that's it from me for today. I'm your mother, TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. I love you, sweetie. Bye-bye.